Good day, everyone. Welcome to the CARICOM News Roundup for the week ending 22nd March 2019. In the news this week, the Guyana Court of Appeal has adjudicated on the validity of a no-confidence motion against the government of Guyana. Britain's Prince Charles highlights the threat climate change poses to the region. New standards for energy-efficient buildings have been released for CARICOM member states. CARICOM and Kazakhstan strengthen diplomatic relations. CARICOM member states sign agreement to preserve trade with Britain after Brexit. I am Tusankine English Francis.
And I'm Jascene Dunkley-Malcolm.
Here are the details of those stories. The Guyana Court of Appeal has ruled that a no-confidence motion against the government of Guyana on December 21st was not carried because an absolute majority was not attained. The Court of Appeal late Friday afternoon ruled that 34 votes and not 33 were needed to pass the motion in the National Assembly. And a number of CARICOM member countries on Friday, March 22nd, signed an agreement with the United Kingdom to govern trade with the UK after its exit from the European Union. The agreement will replicate the preferential trading relationship the region currently enjoys under the CARICOM European Union Economic Partnership Agreement, the EPA. The UK is the region's largest trading partner in the EU, absorbing 25% of total exports, which include bananas, rum, sugar, rice, agro-processed foods, and methanol. The countries which signed on Friday were Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The orders are expected to sign within the coming days.
And the Republic of Kazakhstan on the 20th of March signaled its intention to maintain a mutually beneficial relationship with CARICOM as a new envoy of the Central Asian country was accredited. Ambassador Erwin Larocque, CARICOM Secretary General, received the letter of credence of His Excellency Andrian Yelemesov at the headquarters of the CARICOM Secretariat in Georgetown, Guyana. Secretary General Larocque expressed appreciation for Kazakhstan's assistance in water resource management. Acknowledging Kazakhstan's support for sustainable development in small island and low-lying coastal developing states, SIDS, such as those in CARICOM, the Secretary General informed the ambassador of the community's efforts towards becoming a climate-resilient region.
The region's concerns about climate change received support from the heir to the throne of Britain during his tour of some Caribbean countries this week. Prince Charles expressed solidarity with CARICOM's concerns that climate change posed an existential threat to the region in St. Lucia on Sunday, March 17th. Noting that there is no greater challenge facing the global community than climate change, he said finding ways to mitigate the risk must be a top priority for the Commonwealth. Prince Charles, during his 12-day tour of the Caribbean, will have visited Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, the Cayman Islands, and Cuba.
And on the topic of finding solutions to mitigate against the risks of climate change, new standards for energy-efficient buildings for CARICOM member states have been released. The CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, CROSQ, on Thursday, March 21, announced the new codes that will improve energy efficiency and support energy conservation efforts. According to the Chief Executive Officer of CROSQ, Mr. Derek Omar, the standards reflect the unique energy requirements of tropical environments and will ultimately increase adoption rates of technologies for renewable energy and energy conservation. The 2018 CARICOM Regional Energy Efficiency Building Code, which will cover both commercial and residential construction, is a joint effort by the CROSQ, the International Code Council, and ASHRAE.
In the meantime, CARICOM member states are advancing renewable energy initiatives to reduce their heavy reliance on diesel energy. Dominica has received support from the World Bank in the construction of a 7-megawatt geothermal power plant. It is anticipated that this project will increase Dominica's share in renewables, diversify the country's energy matrix, and identify a clear roadmap for the private sector to invest in the project. Following the passage of Hurricane Maria in 2017, at least 75% of the country's power network was damaged. In response, the government adopted the National Resilient Development Strategy, which sets out Dominica's vision to become the first climate-resilient country in the world.
The government of the Bahamas has opened a 925 kilowatt solar plant facility that is expected to significantly reduce the country's reliance on diesel fuel. The facility, the largest of its kind in the country, is expected to replace the equivalent of 310,000 gallons of diesel annually and is expected to serve as a carport with electric vehicle charging stations. It was made possible by a grant from the United Arab Emirates through the UAE Caribbean Renewable Energy Fund.
14 CARICOM young diplomats and government officials recently visited Japan under the UNTO's Japan, Latin America and the Caribbean Exchange Program. Jascene, you were there. Tell us about that visit.
It was a very enriching experience to Tusankine. This program actually falls under Japan's Friendship Ties program, which promotes people-to-people exchanges between Japan and the various nations in the Asian Pacific, North America, Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean countries. It also aims to encourage understanding of Japan's economy, society, history, diverse culture, politics, and diplomatic relations among the participants. So this pretty much meant that we had a mix of going to workshops and seminars that spoke to Japan's security policy and, how Japan's relations with CARICOM, Japan's aid to CARICOM. And there was also some visits to like temples and shrines and other cultural icons such as the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park and Museum.
Sounds like it was a very enriching experience. Thank you so much for that update.
It definitely was. And thank you so much for joining us for today's program. If you have not already done so, please go ahead and subscribe to the CARICOM YouTube channel. And while you are at it, go ahead and hit the bell notification button so you can know when we have uploads. Also, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Check out our blog at today.caricom.org. Join us again next time for another edition of the program.